Hello guys, today we're going to create some kind of interaction system like in the triple games. Like the system going to look like this. Going to look at this object, it's going to show you some kind of name of this object. It's cube for now. And after pressing left mouse button or E, it's going to show debugging. So yeah. First of all, you have to create your project in Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I use Unreal Engine 5.5, but I think it's good for every version. The first thing, you have to create a folder. I think it's very good techniques. I mean, starting class. I'll call it classes. And after that, I'm going to create an interface class because we are going to use interface in our projects. So what is interface? Interface is an object that only contains definition of the functions. There is no implementation of interface. So some kind of uh, you should start your game with BI, some kind of indentation for writing your blueprint classes. I'm gonna write an interaction. So yeah, okay, it's interaction, but you're gonna open that so you can see there's no implementation. You're only defining your projects. So I'm gonna write it as an interact. Yes, and it's very useful when you are using your player as a parameter. Yeah, it might be bad for performance, but not that bad. But it's gonna help you a lot. Yeah, uh because you will need player a lot in your objects. So yeah, we created our BI interaction interface, and also how we're gonna distinguish objects that we can interact with and not. So let's say that we can interact with this object and with this object not. So we're gonna use some kind of components. It's called what is that? Oh yeah. We're gonna use actor component for that. What is that? It's some kind of component that you can add to your classes, your base classes. Actor components cannot be a, a place object that you can place on the scene because it doesn't contain any object itself. So intention is starting with AC because actor component, and then I'm gonna just interaction. There's also interaction or might be it's useful as AC interactable. Yeah, because defining can we interact or not. So how we can see there is no viewport here, just only code. So I'm going to remove that, and then creating a variable, some kind of hint because some kind of hint that we see in game. Like is it an is it a cube or a different thing? And also very important, if you're going to use a localization in your game later, I suggest you recommend and you match text of a string. I mean, uh, in okay, I'm gonna show you here. In tool file, there's a localization dashboard, and if you're going to make a localization for your game, it's only going to find objects and text that is used that is used text variable type data type. It is not going to find you a string, so I highly recommend you to use text in your game over string. So this hint going to be a name of the object. So let's create okay, just save this. Let's create an object. So here I'm going to create another like actor. Yeah, so actor class. And then create an actor class. I'll call it BP. I don't know, just cube. Here we go. And I wanna use this object. So yeah. So I'll get this here. So in the cube file, I'm gonna open it up. And first of all, you're gonna add your component interactable here. And it's in this game going to be cube, just cube, nothing else. And added a new static mesh. Let's just cube. Yeah, okay, it's coming from our cube, and that's it. So how we can implement our interface in our class? In class settings, you can find implemented interfaces, and just for search for your interface, and here it is, BI interaction. Okay, so you can see an interface section here in the interface, and you should override it, and there you're gonna find interaction, so you so everything is proper. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna just print for now, print the name, the name of the object. So here we go. So we finished with a part of the cube. So let's dive into the first person, I mean player's vision. I suggest you also work with the actor components because you want to avoid spaghetti code in your blueprint, and it's very recommended, highly recommended to use the components for a specific task. So my task is I'm gonna interaction here. So going dive into starting an interaction system. First of all, we are creating a function create trace. Yeah, because we have the trace object, and there's a built-in function with a line trace. So it's a lot of like line trace by channel, but I will take it all by channel. So um, no, as you know that, and starting going to be our object. So yeah, is and also we don't have access to our first person, and we have to add a variable here. You can also use, but more I wanted to you create an object and the instant editable, so we can create or I mean set the value of this player to our current player, or just uh you can in event system in the gameplay just search for your actor of class like VP first person, VP first person, and set the value here. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways to set your player here. So after that, you already set your player. So player, you're gonna take your first person camera, yeah, and get role position, okay, location. So you're gonna start. So your end going to be some kind of line I'm gonna end. So we're gonna take same thing, but here we have to drag and take our get forward vector because we are tracing forward, and then multiply it by some kind of constant numbers, not by vector but by plot. Yeah, and that also is a really good thing that you go to promote it as variable and like set it like farness. So I'm usually I set it to 200. So yeah, and after that you have to add them, and basically we'll look like this and assign to the end. So here we go, and after that is you have to check for does your line hit an object? Yeah. If it's yes, so you can do something. Yeah. And breaking your hit result. So first thing we all trace that and we have to distinguish can we interact with the object or not. So hit actor. We already assigned create a component for that is AC interactable and the get component by class. Okay then get component by class. Here we go AC interactable. And if it's equal to none, that means that if it's nothing, that it doesn't contain a component, that means that we can interact with the object. Yeah. So that means that we can interact with the object and just call the function interact that we created before in interface class. So after that, you're going to create some kind of interact function. Yeah. And here you are going to create active parameter. I mean, you can just implement interact in trace file, but to not make it spaghetti code or live code in the function, I'm going to create another function and assign this as actor. So here we go. So just drag the actor and search for interact. So we already know we are going to work with AC interaction. Oh, no, no. Interact BI. Yes, here we go. And then it's going to be as this player. So that's it. So we are going to calling function here. And after that, just set and call the function and set the value here. Make it a little bit beautiful, a little bit like more understandable. So we're done with that case. Yeah. So here we go. In PP first person character or in your character code, just add that interactable code in your interaction. So yeah, here we go. Or assign the values and how are we going to interact? I mean, when? When we're going to press a button. I think it is commonly used your right, I don't know, your left mouse button. So I'm gonna work with left mouse button. So here we're gonna work with 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 that input mapping context. Okay, it will keep, I can just rename this from shooting. Yeah, shooting for just interact. Here we go. And then that interact is only takes things pressed, everything's fine, and then assign that interact, that is AI interact. Okay, sorry, AI interact something. AI interact to the left mouse button or to E in keyboard. Here we go. After that, in Ace interaction, create a new variable boolean if 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 for indicating that if person press the button or not. So just press, visual press and change to boolean here. Okay, and then in first person character, you're going to call a little bit input action for the interact, and if it's triggered, and that we set our value, our press button to the true, not here in Ace interaction get um was it pressed, set pressed pressed to the true value. So yeah, and after that, going to interaction, so we have to check only if player press the button with an otherwise. So we are done, and also set interaction value to false. Yeah, because it depends on false. So here we done with this, but how we're going to indicate, I mean, like show a name on the screen, like in indie or AAA games. So for that, I already created interaction. It only contains a text, some kind of text. The it is currently set to the nothing, and here so we create a new interaction widget with canvas, and that's it. And after that, in your as instruction, create a new variable for creating it interact. I mean, you can call it how you want, and then assign to this interact. So here you have to create that widget and then set the value of the widget and then add to the viewport. I mean, you're going to show it to the player. F. The move to the tracing, you have to show the name of that. And if he found, okay, here's a false to be because we are checking for the, if he found the value itself, you have to drag which interact and get our text. In order to find text block in Blueprint, you have to set the text block to I mean set this little bit checkbox to the true. So it's going to become a variable. Then set text here. Text. I mean you can do it how we want. So go and just it's going to be equal to in of the object. So here we go. And if it's not, we have to set it to the nothing. So we're going to say nothing and also press on the false. And a very important part, if you're not hitting anything, you also have to set it to the false in that. That's just like that. So this one, I think we should this one here and then with another instance. I can draw like this one. Yeah. And therefore now it's going to work. It should work properly. And here's a little bit of time waiting because it's running things. You create new game. So here we go. So here it's going to our cube. If I'm going to just not just move my camera out of this cube, initially nothing. If just to end up, I'm pressing left button and the E, so it's showing cube, 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 cube. So that means that it's everything. So I think that's how you can implement this question. I mean, it might be a very long lesson, but in this lesson, I covered most of the part that you have to understand when you're doing, and the very important that you have to know, you have to make your mechanics flexible because you might have some kind of drag and dropping, interacting, and then maybe some kind of like a rotation system. So, thank you for the video. Thank you for watching this video. I guess it was helpful.